Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, today is November 30th. Thanks for tuning in. Can't believe 11 months are over already. It's just kind of crazy. We're already almost into 2023, so we'll have a few update videos coming out at the end of December, going into the holidays. This way we can recap you on 2022 and give you a glimpse at 2023. If there's anything that you want us to talk about specifically, let us know. I read all these comments below, so by all means, send us those. So what's going on with the markets after Thanksgiving holiday? We haven't seen a crazy jump up, but I'll tell you some of the things that I've seen over the last few days. Copper prices, they did have a 7 or 8 cent increase today, Wednesday the 30th, but that doesn't really get me excited because these are real quick ups and downs that we've been seeing over the last few weeks. I'll give you an idea. 3 weeks ago, we saw the market jump 25 cents, and all of that money per pound went away over the next 2.5 weeks until we kind of saw this increase today. So I'm not super excited about some of these jumps that I'm seeing right now. I don't think that they are long-term indicators. But if you want to talk about long-term indicators, you can talk about the electrification and the EV model. And I've read a bunch of different articles over the last few months, and they're just talking about the increased demand in copper. I read an article through the Wall Street Journal yesterday that talked about how few charging stations there are. A girl went on a trip from New Orleans to Chicago, back down to New Orleans, and had a real hard time finding high charging or quick charging systems. So what does that mean? That they're going to need more of these these EV chargers going in all over the country if they really want to push EV vehicles. That also means that more copper is going to be needed. I think that in 2022, about 4.5% of the vehicles sold in the US were electric vehicles. So that increase almost doubled over 2021. So as more companies join Tesla and Ford and Chevrolet, and all the others in producing more hybrid vehicles and then more pure electric vehicles, you're going to need a better charging system. So long term, I see the viability and the pricing for copper kind of at a bottom, especially after the money that was printed. Now, if you're going to ask me when the uptick is going to happen, that I couldn't tell you, because we're talking about an infrastructure going in that could take years to really drive to get put together. So, do I think you should hold on to your metals? Every week we give our recommendations, and that's all they are, whether you should sell or hold your materials. And my yard in New Jersey, we continue to sell material quickly. I know another guy that sold all of his inventory that he's held for the last 3 or 4 months because he's so unsure where the markets are going to be going. So if that gives you a better indicator of what's going on, I don't think that we're going to see a huge uptick over the next few months. But I do think that long term, and we'll talk more about this in the end of December 2022, I do think that we're going to start to see a little bit of an uptick when it comes to the long-term perspective. But there are things that happen outside of the United States that people don't think about when they affect commodities. I was reading some of the comments on YouTube, not only in our members only videos that we push out there, but also in the general videos that we push out there. And if you're looking for more scrap information and things like that, our members only YouTube area gives you those videos when we hear news that comes out that you should know. We push it out there, so check that out. But what's going on in the world? Well, I read about some prices. I read about some demands. I hear about recessionary fears. So what does that mean? Steel markets have cut in half essentially over the last 4 or 5 months. Is there going to be an increase? I don't think so. I read out of Turkey that they're going to start buying steel at $17 a ton higher than it was in November going into December. But a lot of steel mills have very steady supply still. And on the supply side of things, I've talked to dozens, and I do mean dozens of scrap yards that are holding on to thousands of tons of steel because the prices, in their opinions, are so low. Now, one of the problems that I see right now is that with this recessionary, fear, or it's here, or whatever it is going on, slow down the economy, we're going to start to see less production compared to 2021. And 2021, having those prices go crazy was really I don't know, a thing called when you throw it, it comes back. No, boomerang. It was a boomerang effect from 2020. Why? In 2020, you didn't have a lot of stuff getting shipped out. They really needed materials. You had things shut down. 2021, that boomerang came swinging back around, having a massive drive up in prices to get material from yards into mills, into new products. And in 2022, we've seen that pull itself back. So we see this big snapback happening, and I don't see steel prices going up anytime soon of significant value into the next 6 months. I mean, I just don't see it. I read a few articles about different steel mills in India that have a solid supply, but their demand is really getting hurt. So what does that mean? If their demand is being hurt, the people that they were selling their cold rolled steel or ingots to, those people, the purchasers that are making the new products, they have stronger buying power, so they can push the prices down. And that's where it is. I mean, think about some of the toys and products you see at the shelves on Walmart and Sears and Home Depot and all these places. I keep reading about retailers having too much inventory. That's because they ordered so much stuff in 2021, and then they just thought that it was going to continue into 2022, that they're now scaling back what they're ordering for 2023 because they have too much product. So that means that all the metal that was needed to make power tools, I-beams, anything with metal is getting scaled back dramatically. Car manufacturers, they're finally starting to catch up on their backlog. Now, they have certain areas that they're missing things in, more in the semiconductor industry, but that doesn't really affect the demand for scrap right now, except in a negative way, because they're getting caught up because so much new product was out there. So, worldwide commodity news is United States commodity news, because commodities are worldwide traded things. There isn't one price for copper in the US and a different price for copper, in China or in Australia, other than a different valuation off of the dollar, the yen, or whatever it is. So it's all the same. It all equals out. So the demand is a worldwide demand. So when we look at prices, commodities, precious metals, PGM groups for catalytic converters, it's all based on world demand, and the world seems to be slowing down. And a few other things that I look at, which kind of scares me when it comes to the scrap price side of thing, is massive layoffs. I'm seeing big companies like Amazon, HP, Dell having big layoffs. And there's other smaller companies that are out there like Stanley, layoffs. When you start to see layoffs happening on a big scale from thousands of jobs, right? Twitter had thousands of layoffs, right? Whatever the reason is, there's still lots and lots of people that lost their job. And they're going to be looking for more work, which means they might not be buying that new car. They might not be buying that second refrigerator. And those are going to be things that domino their way into the commodities prices. So I think copper prices are kind of leveled out. I think that we will see a COMEX bottom out in that 325 to 350 range. Today we were trading at 373. I think that's a little artificial. Worldwide news affects things. The COVID thing over in China with their massive lockdowns, that's affecting the worldwide markets. Gas prices, diesel prices over $6 per gallon. These are things that we look at that affect these markets. So when we come out and say whether you should hold or sell items, you really need to look at the world economy right now. Stainless steel, I think that's a solid hold. You have cheap prices on stainless. You have nickel markets that are in the $24,000 per ton range, which means stainless prices should be in the 70-cent range. They're in the 25-cent range. That doesn't make sense. Copper prices, I think that's a sell. That's a quick flip. You make money on it and you can put that in your pocket to pay your bills, buy tools, or whatever. Copper is something that I always recommend selling. Brass is another area I always recommend selling. Yellow brass, you have $1.90 average right now. That's a great price historically. I was looking at some of the trends over the last 3 years, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 is still beating, every year except 2021. So I think that brass is a great item to continue to sell. Other items, insulated wire, sell it. Right? We've had some great videos on YouTube recently talking about different types of wire, what you should strip, what you should not strip. If you're not upgrading items and you're just saving it, lower grade items, get them out of your way, out the door. Other items that I think you should sell, catalytic converters, national average like $152, $155. Another great item to be able to sell, rrcats.com. Price locks you for 10 days, free shipping, gives you the ability to know what you're getting paid. With the precious metals always changing, items like platinum, palladium, and rhodium, super high money per ounce. These are things that you can learn about, whether it's through our channel or through RR Cats, but that's another item that we recommend selling right now. But aluminum, we're starting to see a little bit of a resurgence. I believe that did I put hold or sell this week on aluminum? Do you remember?
Sell.
I put sell on there. If, I'm allowed to change my opinion, right? If you want to save certain grades of aluminum, I know everyone loves the extruded aluminum, which is not really a grade, but a classification or a description. I would recommend saving some of your higher grades of aluminum. We've seen some people talking about stripping insulated aluminum wire. That's one of the higher grades of aluminum. It's called EC wire. Once it's stripped, that's an awesome item that you can save right now, especially because you can, strip it and make more money with it. But most of your aluminum grades are starting to pick up steam. We've seen some of the aluminum markets increasing. But overall, I think that these scrap markets are still in a sell area. Steel prices, if you have the ability to hold on to your heavier grades, sure, go ahead and save them, right? But why? Your upside, think about it. Let's say you can save 5 tons of rotors. Let's say you're able to save 5 tons of rotors, and today's rotor price averages at $225, $230 a ton, right? Your upside of saving it is how many months or years, and what's your upside of making more money? Do you want to go to 300? So a difference of $70 times 5 tons, that's $350. If it takes a full year to get it, wouldn't you rather have that money to do something else with it, or go and learn how to make more money with something else? These are the things that I think about, and these are some of the things that I try to tell my customers at Rockaway Recycling. Of course, we share on the YouTube channel, but some people like saving it. Those 2021 prices certainly got you a little spoiled on the copper and steel side of things. But, I see positive news coming out, but I also see these recessionary fears. So, it's going to be interesting. The infrastructure plan that Congress and Senate passed a few months ago, that's going to take a long time to roll out that money for the electric vehicle charging stations. And I'm not talking, it's already been 6 months, and they're predicting that we're all of 18 months away from that really being spent. That infrastructure bill, repairing roads, bridges, needing steel for guardrails, that could be years away, not months away, because that's how long it takes to really find where that money's going to go, to figure out how it's going to be put into the ground. So these are things that take a long time and don't drive up prices immediately. Supply and demand drive up or down prices immediately. Worldwide growth, which we are not seeing growth, we're seeing shrinkage right now. That's what would drive up or decrease demand. So you need to look outside of the United States, because sometimes we get put into our box. Commodities are a worldwide market, fueled by a lot of diesel and gas prices, unfortunately. So, those are some of the things that we're seeing right now. But going into December, anything you want us to talk about for a 2022 recap, let us know. We have our brand new website coming out in the next 2 weeks. We just got it uploaded to our server, and we're going to be testing it out. So we'll be pushing that out to you. So we're excited for you to see that. Any other questions, comment below. Until next week, I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for checking out this scrap video. For more exclusive scrap video content, please become a YouTube member of our channel today. Thank you, and I'll scrap you later.